Great news, I have found my manual for my Betopper moving headlights, and this is important. These are the mini moving heads, and with the manual you can do an awful lot. So before we get into the lights, I do want to say this is important enough that I would actually take pictures with my phone of the manual page by page and group them as the LM70S. Now, again, add the word Betopper into the actual title of your pictures, so this way you can find them later on. Because it does have a lot of shortcuts. There's lots of modes on these lights. They're super simple to use if you know what the modes are trying to tell you. And that makes life really, really good. Now, let's look at how I have these lights set up right now. I have one facing away from the other. As you notice, one's backwards from the other. And that's because I've set one up in reverse. That's what we're actually going to cover in today's video. How we turn them from something that runs in, together as a group. They go to the left, they go to the right, up, down, that sort of thing, to having them tilt in a mirror image. So this way the lights work against each other and it looks really cool, even if you're using a DMX controller. You don't have to program half of them and then mirror the image on the other half. No, you can set your lights up to run backwards if that's how you want to run them all the time. Now that being said, also important, these lights, they're mini moving, affordable, reasonably priced, works really well, regardless if you're going to use them on a DMX controller or if you're just going to run them sound activated. I've done that. I've got a video on sound activation. It does work and it works out really well. You can even run them without a DMX controller and have them all synced working together. That's another great thing. But remember, these are not quiet lights. These are not like just setting up some par lights where you might have a little fan in the background running. That's great for a house of worship. I'd recommend buying, 3 or 4 of those instead of one of these to set up in a house of worship. So this way it's very quiet. These are going to be a little noisier. These are definitely for DJs. If you are looking for something where you're going to play some heavy volume and you're not going to worry about any background noise, then that's fine. If you're worried about how much noise a light makes, then definitely don't buy these lights. Now, I'm not saying that's because these are bad lights. It's just moving headlights in general are not the quietest things. For their price, they work out really well. They've been very simple. The lights all work. They're very bright. They're very intense, multicolor, easy to use, straightforward. That's always, always important. It's just how simple and how easy is it for you to be able to take these lights and incorporate them into what you're doing. So again, I'm not a super fan of using a DMX controller. If you're using a sound switch as a DJ, you can add these into your program, and then that'll automatically make these do some pretty impressive magic. So again, sound switch, if you're using anything with your Serato or record box, anytime you're using a controller to operate these part of your music play, that's going to be even better. So now at this point, I'm going to turn them on so you can get a feel and shake for the sound. We're going to plug everything in here, and we're going to get these lights all plugged in on this side. And you're going to hear them starting up here. They're going to always reset themselves. That's always important. They're going to reset, recycle, get themselves in a start position. And then once they're in a start position, everything will be ready. Start position for these lights should be opposite, because remember, I have one set up backwards than the other. That's important. Now, if one light is already pretty much at its neutral point, it'll pretty much not move a lot, where the other one might be at its opposite point and might have to go like this one did, all the way around, find its home, know where the start and finish is. It's ready to go. Now, what does ready to go mean? I can either control it from here, just like that. I can move the lights around a bit. I can change, play around with the color. Again, this is what I'm doing on this controller here. It's not to make things complicated. It's just the way it is, right? So you can bring them in as you wish. You can manually control them. Set them up any which way you want. There you go, right? That's it, that's all. Pick the color you want. You can either set these up. I mean, everything else is the DMX controller, but the point is the lights are completely manageable and workable. So there you go. It doesn't get any more complicated or any easier than that. I mean, you just make the lights do what you want them to do, and you'll be all set. So pick any color you want. It's going to work for you. You can make a combination of colors. You can bring in all the colors. You can even make it all white if you want. I mean, again, the lights are very creative when it comes to what you can do with them. So not to be shy and use them the way you want. That's very, very important. So let's get a close-up camera to it. I do want to show you exactly what I mean when I say set up a light in reverse. So this way it runs backwards. Even if you're using it in music mode, automatic, or if you're using it on a controller, it does make these things a little handy to use. And here we are. We've got the two lights. Of course, one is reversed. Now, normally, if I'm running these together without a DMX controller, I would just keep both lights facing the same way because they'll automatically run mirror to each other. Now, all you need to do to make a mirror image is on your first one, go through your settings, and you'll notice that you have options like pan and tilt just by hitting the menu button. Now, the important part is on your second light, your pan option, you want to see that little R, that little hook that we have here. Again, you use that up and down option to select it, turn it on, and you're all set. Now, if you want to control the tilt as being opposite as well, turn that on and off as well. Now, again, you don't have to do that. If I don't change the tilt option, watch what happens. Both lights will run perfectly in sync facing each other, but because I've changed the pan, which is the spinning option, it's reversed, they'll now face towards each other and move away from each other. So what we'll do is we'll take it out of DMX mode, unplug the DMX controller. So the nice thing about Betopper is when you unplug the actual DMX controller and you're running just lights, you can set the first light as fast or in music or auto, slow, your choice. The second one will automatically recognize that there's no DMX controller connected and it will automatically slave off the first one. And there you go. Now you'll notice again, because I set the pan with an R on the second one, it automatically is now running the left-right motion backwards. The tilt is the same, so this way they're both tilting towards the front. That's very, very important. Now, you'll notice I'm wasting an awful lot of light. If I was a DJ, I'd be standing here in the middle or behind these lights as they were mounted, and these lights would be, well, coming to me as much as they'd be going to you, and that's an awful lot of waste. You want them all to be focused towards the audience. And how do you do that? Well, first you narrow down the rotation. So I only want them to go 180. I want them to go from full left to full right. How am I going to do that? I'm going to go over here, keep choosing the options until I get to pan. Now it says 540 degrees. So that's a full turn and a half for it to go. We need to narrow that down to 180. Once it's 180, it's only going to swing left and right, 180 degrees from the far left to the far right. Now this guy also has to be set to 180 or else it's going to be completely doing its own thing. Same color pattern, same concept, but no restrictions. So here we're going to come all the way to where it says pan. We're going to go to 180. We're going to hit enter, lock that in. Watch this. Now they've lined themselves up again. But now they're running completely left and right. Nowhere else, just in that fashion. But we have a new problem. Though we've limited the actual panning by 180, we haven't actually adjusted the tilt. So now they're pointing the other way, this way, any which way. Again, we want that only for the audiences. So instead of having 180, we need to change the tilt to only 90. So now it's going to go straight up, straight down. That's it. So we're going to go 90 degrees, straight up, straight down. Again, we're going to go all the way to tilt, T, which says now 270, because that's the maximum. We're going to change that to 90, and we're going to hit enter. So now, there we go. Everything these lights are going to do are going to be within 90 degrees of each other and stay within that fold. This is really nice. That's the way you want to have it for your audience. This way, the light's always on them, and it's never on you. So if I stand behind these lights, I will never get lights in my face. It just won't happen that way. That's a perfect setup. And that's what you can do with lights like this. I can set this up to run on DMX now, and I'll have these limitations to it. Or I can let them either be on auto and just turn them on and off. Once you hit that enter button, it's memorized. And if I want, I can set this up to music mode. And the lights will move on their own. The music is flashing and going on at that point. So that's what's going to change when you're in music mode. So and there we are. Those are your Betopper lights. Again, these are mountable. These are set up. You can put these on an actual truss. They're pretty easy to play around with. If you get quick release for your trusses or clamps that you can take off and file these away, good way to go. So we're going to pull the power on them now. Just simple as that. Now again, if I just power them up, they're just going to work again. There's no more complication than that. Buy them in pairs or in fours or buy 8 of them. One of them is not going to do you an awful lot. So I wouldn't go out and run out and buy one. I'd buy like 2 if they're on sale, 4 or 6 or 8 or whatever you want. Buy multiples. They'll do a much better job. And don't expect these things to be whisper silent. They're meant to be played when you have a lot of music going on. So make sure you set them up so you're happy with them. and they're going to do a great job for you. If you take your time and practice with them and you add in some extra lights, you're going to go crazy for these guys. So there you go. If you're looking for moving headlights, the links are down below. It's going to bring you to Betopper. You're also going to get links to Amazon. So all of that's going to be covered for you. It's an affiliate link. That's how we get sponsored for these actual videos. My original video where I show you how to do this without a DMX controller, that's not sponsored. That was all our product. Now Betopper's taking the time to send us some extra products. They've asked if we want to do a video on it. I knew how good they were from before and how good they are for the price. So I thought, you know what? Let's get a couple of these in. They're fun to use. And remember, Betopper, good warranty, good service, good reliability. Well, I hope this video helps you out today in your buying decision. Maybe I'll see you in the next one. Like I say, thanks for watching and bye for now.